We're down to one more preseason game as we get closer to the final roster. Tony Camino there. I'm Andy Billman here. And we're about ready to go through the second to last preseason game as they play the Eagles this week. Kind of I would say, an ultimate dress rehearsal for the final roster, not the roster. Meaning we saw a lot of backups and a lot of third stringers playing this game. Tony's marked down a few of these plays, and our favorite new player, I'll lead it off here, is DTR. DTR is exciting. I've actually said, Tony, if he continues to play this way, not this year, but I believe if he continues to play this way, you're going to start to hear some scuttlebutt from fans of wanting to see him play in the regular season in 24, 25, 26. Because he is exciting to watch. He really is.
Yeah. I think with the way Dobbs' contract works out, it's perfect for him to take this year as QB3 and not have to worry about playing, barring some crazy emergency. Let him just learn, get everything he can, and then next year really step into that QB2 role. Unfortunately, the cap hit for Deshaun next year is up to like $60 million. So DTR's not playing in the regular season outside of a Week 18 game where the season's already wrapped up or an injury. But he is exciting, and he's definitely been better than we could have expected.
He's pushing the envelope in a good way, and the Browns need this. It isn't like we're falling into Cody Kessler. This is actually a guy who's pushing to play, which is exciting. He's definitely pushing to be a second-string quarterback. Mm-hmm. All right, so DTR, I thought, played well last week. Tony, you're going through a play here. What should we be looking for on this particular play with DTR?
Yeah, so, the numbers and the PFF grades and everything will say that it was his worst game, which it was. He wasn't as efficient, but plays like this still gave me a lot of encouragement. So right here, just simple zone defense look. But you could tell quickly what I have circled is Weipler got beat almost immediately. This is like a second after the snap. And that dude has passed him almost immediately. So what DTR is going to have to do, what a lot of quarterbacks don't do, is step up well. He steps up perfectly, and as this defender is still on his back, manages to step in and get that throw. And that's the one thing about DTR that's like, he doesn't care how many guys are right in his face. He might be getting dragged to the ground. He's going to stand in there and make a throw. And the best part about that throw here is he has to, for him and Austin Watkins has to anticipate the soft zone in the zone defense, and that's drifting a little bit away from that linebacker. DTR feels that, and he feels that, and he leads him out in that direction, and he makes a really good catch. Just looks like really mature stuff from two guys that before the preseason nobody really even thought of on the Browns roster.
Yeah, I'll actually go a step further. I think this is the first time we're seeing two players that, again, are growing. And that usually does not happen in preseason for the Browns. Usually it's players like, well, who's playing the best? Not as like, these two guys are actually wanting and I think making a difference. Again, I'll say it. Everybody thinks this is crazy, but if DTR continues to play like this and practices like this all next year, not this year, all next year, DTR is going to push some things because he looks the part. He steps into the pocket. He looks very controlled. Now, he's not played in a game setting, and sometimes that's the one thing we got to guard ourselves for. But my gosh, he comes out as a quarterback who's very mature, and obviously Watkins does too, the wide receiver. I think Watkins should make the team. And I'm a David Bell supporter. I think he should make it over David Bell. Your thoughts? I think Watkins should be on the team.
I think he definitely should. We're at that problem where we're not the old Browns, so we are going to have to cut talented people.
Yep.
I think maybe not over David Bell. I don't see Andrew Berry moving on from a third-round pick that quickly. So I would think the direction they might go, which I think is probably the best direction, would be keep 6 receivers. Watkins gets in as number 6. We saw enough from DPJ as a punt returner last year, and we saw enough from Jerome Ford as the kick returner where I don't know if it's worth rostering Jakeem Grant, who hasn't played in a year. It's a good idea and thought, but, are we going to put that much into the return game where we need to keep Jakeem Grant over Austin Watkins or over another position? I think if Jakeem Grant's on the roster and Austin Watkins isn't, that'll be a little disappointing, but it'll be interesting to see how they decide that overall.
Jakeem Grant went from the hottest thing last preseason to a season-ending surgery, and you just don't hear anything from Jakeem Grant. Nothing. And you're right. He is not – I don't know if he's exciting enough or does enough to make it. I haven't seen him. Just haven't seen him make a play, so it's hard to tell. I definitely think Anthony Schwartz is out. He's got a hamstring again, so I think it's going to be goodbye to him. And, again, I like David Bell. I actually think David Bell can probably make small, good plays. But see what I'm saying? It's like I see Watkins making plays, and I just gotta be honest, like that guy's actually making plays. It's a big difference. Another guy who's making plays who will not be cuts a wide receiver is Tillman. We're gonna watch a sluggo route. So actually, for our fans that are not so hip, what is really a sluggo?
So right here before the play, it's a slant and go is what it stands for. So Tillman's running a slant, 3 steps, glancing super hard, and then immediately breaks vertical. So right here, you can see his break on that initial slant, and that defender immediately is trying to jump that route. And so then, and this is a really good job sinking his hips on this slant route to really sell like he's going for that quick slant, make the defender try to jump over it, and then you could see right after he accelerates upfield, and his defender's shoulders are completely faced the wrong way. At that point, it's basically if DTR can make a somewhat good throw, that cornerback guarding him has no chance. The safety really recognized it quick and actually closed the window pretty well. But look at DTR here. This was really a Tillman play, but that defender's all over him. Like there's no airspace, and the fact that he's able to stand in there and make an accurate throw is another really impressive play from him. But then you can see he finally, and the safety actually gets over there. But DTR, under all the pressure he was under, makes the throw to like the back shoulder of Tillman so he can use his body to keep it away from the safety, and then he can high point it past the cornerback he's already beaten. So those two guys really just shown a lot. DTR throwing under pressure, stepping up in the pocket. Like we knew he was an athlete. We knew the plays with his legs were going to be there, but it's that maturity as a passer and seeming comfortable with all the things, stepping up under pressure, like that's really impressive to me.
It's exciting. I don't remember a time since the move where I've seen two rookies really make an impression like I've been seeing. And I'd even throw in Cameron Mitchell in there. Sadly, he's hurt with the shoulder. I think he's been impressive too. We've had rookies who stood out, like Myles Garrett stood out. I think Nick Chubb stood out from day one. But these guys are really playing together well. You can see I guess what I'm trying to say is that I see the future for the Browns. Tillman and DTR are going to be a part of this future. And again, I want to repeat, that's something as Browns fans we don't normally ever get. It's usually we're just hoping and then survive in advance. And there's obviously a little bit of that because of the cap situation. But DTR and Tillman are going to be here for a while. They're good players.
Right.
They're very, very good.
Like my whole life, these last 20 years, it's always been other powerhouses in our division like the Steelers. They would have so many established starters, and then they would be so good at drafting, developing guys. And then when those guys are due to get paid, they can just slide in their rookies. It's a really similar spot with Tillman and possibly with DPJ. I mean, DPJ is not under contract next year. I like DPJ, but with the current cap situation we're in, he's very likely to be a guy that we might just say, you know what, we've got Tillman to replace you. So if Tillman can really step up, we can start to do that. Okay, move in your rookies on cheaper deals for the guys like DPJ who are good but are replaceable.
Yeah, I think DPJ is a tough sell to bring back. Not because it's not good, because of the salary cap. It's a tough sell for everything you just said. I mean, as soon as you said that, I'm like, yeah, I keep Tillman. I really would. And I think actually Tillman, I think is going to be better.
I think he will too. I think he can get more separation than DPJ is a great contested catch guy, but like he doesn't get open like ever.
Yeah, he's a consistent, and this is not a bad thing. I'm being polite. He's a consistent average wide receiver, which means he shows up. He's pro. He does not jump off the page. He cannot lead your team. He's a second or a third on most teams. That's just what he is, and he's second on this team for now. I think next year, even if he were still back here, I think that might change. So I think Tillman's going to be pushing for that time. All right, so we got one more preseason game to go. He showed nothing of the running backs, which I've been touting for this whole time. Are you okay with Wilkins being maybe the third, I guess technically third behind Jerome Ford, who couldn't pick him out in a lineup? I haven't seen that guy run yet. This backup running back situation I've been harping on is very strange.
Yeah. I think it's more like Jerome Ford, I'm hoping it's just more precautionary than anything. Like we're not going to rush a guy in because he is – I mean, the drop-off from Jerome Ford, supposedly, we haven't really seen him. But the thought of Jerome Ford, the drop-off after him, is pretty drastic. So we definitely want to keep those two healthy. Jordan Wilkins didn't really play a whole lot. I think he'll be fine, especially our O-line's going to make a lot of running backs look good. But definitely keep your eye on the market. Dearness Johnson, one of the Eagles guys. There's plenty of teams that are going to cut good running backs. So looking at guys like that if we don't feel comfortable with the guys we got.
I think they'll definitely be bringing someone in. Would not be surprised they brought in one more defensive tackle as well. I actually think linebackers, which everybody freaks out about, I think the linebackers have kind of settled out. I don't really have as much fear about that anymore. And I think every other position is kind of there. I mean, you can always have more players, but that's that. All right, so that's the latest on this game. Tony and I will be back on Saturday. I was about to say Thursday. That's last week. Saturday, 1 o'clock against the Chiefs. We'll be more for that, and we're going to do this throughout the regular season as well. Check out Tony's article for more in-depth stuff at BelieveInTheLand.com. Check out things I write too, and along with Todd Hall and the rest of the Believe in the Land gang. Tony's there. I'm here. Thank you so much. Go Browns. See you guys all on Saturday for the Browns-Chiefs game.
Mm-hmm.